that I had up, and as always, these slides are available, so you can review it after the webinar is finished. Okay, work-based learning experiences in CTE programs. Students practicing skills working towards mastery do not count as work-based learning. Once a student has mastered a skill and can independently demonstrate those skills to provide a service or produce a product for a customer, that can count as work-based learning. For example, a student in a construction program practices measuring boards, using power tools, and cutting boards to specific lengths and widths. These activities cannot be counted for work-based learning hours, as it is skills development. That same student, after practicing those skills and can do them with accuracy, without assistance from the teacher, has now achieved the mastery level. That student builds park benches for a town park, who serves as the customer, draws the plans for the benches, independently cuts the wood to size, and assembles the benches without assistance. That activity can be counted as work-based learning hours. A student in a cosmetology program cannot count work-based learning or work done on a mannequin. However, work on a live client can count for work-based learning hours. Local business partners are an important component of any work-based learning experiences. They have the industry expertise to further guide and train the students to become successful employees in a chosen career path. You are preparing students with the knowledge and technical skills to be successful in their post-secondary training and education that leads to a career pathway. Every student that exits our high schools, whether they continue their education at an educational institution, military training, or on-the-job training, will need to gain employment to support themselves and possibly a family. The relationship they build with local businesses is critical for every student. The Work-Based Learning Manual has been developed and can be found at the link provided on this slide and on the State Education Department's website. It can be used to guide students and school districts and parents and BOCES in choosing the correct work-based learning experiences that benefit the students. There are some sample forms also provided in this manual. Supervision of work-based learning experiences is a critical component. Non-registered work-based learning experiences can be supervised by certified academic teachers, special education teachers, CTE teachers, school counselors, or teaching assistants. Teacher aides are not instructional staff and therefore cannot supervise work-based learning experiences. These experiences do not need to be supervised by a certified work-based learning coordinator, although it is highly recommended that a work-based learning coordinator do supervise them. Registered work-based learning programs must be supervised by certified work-based learning coordinators who hold the appropriate work-based learning extension. Certified academic teachers, special education teachers, or school counselors who hold the coordinator of work-based learning programs for career awareness can only supervise the GWEP and WESEP registered work-based learning programs or any unregistered work-based learning experience. Certified CTE teachers who hold the coordinator of work-based learning programs for career development can supervise the CEIP and co-op programs, as well as any of the other registered work-based learning programs, as well as the non-registered work-based learning experiences. We will go into more detail on each of these registered work-based learning experiences and unregistered work-based learning programs. The unregistered work-based learning programs, there are various types, and we will explain each in following slides. They are job shadowing, community-based work program, community service volunteering, school-based enterprise, and career-focused research projects. Job shadowing is an observation-only unpaid experience. It's a good introductory work-based learning experience for students with little to no employment experience. Students may participate in more than one job shadowing experience. The student spends 1 to 8 hours at each job shadowing experience. It's typically between grades 9 and 12, and there are no graduation credits awarded. The community-based work program is a federal initiative for individuals with disabilities. It's a non-registered work-based learning experience that allows students with disabilities to explore various career options. For students age 14 and older with disabilities, it's career exploration in nature. The transition plan includes the career skills assessment and training. The U.S. Department of Labor puts in place the hazardous occupations that apply. They may be paid or unpaid experiences, and there is no graduation credit awarded. Community service and volunteering. These activities are, students may participate in unpaid activities in the community. It connects students to their community. It does not directly connect to knowledge and skills learned in the classroom. Community organizations or school districts supervises the students, and there's no graduation credit awarded. Volunteer activities such as Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, church youth groups may be counted with proper documentation from the scout leader or the youth group leader. School-based enterprises. This is a business that exists within a school. It provides products or services for students, staff, or community members. Some examples are a school store, school cafe, growing plants for sale in the first spring sale, dog biscuit making company. There are jewelry making companies across in different schools. And again, no graduation credit is awarded unless it's part of a locally approved course. The career-focused research paper is where a student researches a career of interest and post-secondary training needed. They research projected future job opportunities. They conduct interviews of professionals working in that career field. They participate in job shadowing experiences. They prepare and deliver a presentation of research findings to their peers. On the slide, the activities that are followed by an asterisk are the only ones that may be counted as work-based learning hours for the CDOS credential. Work-based learning in health science programs. The New York State Department of Health and New York State public health laws set requirements for student volunteers in all healthcare facilities. Work-based learning in healthcare facilities should be limited and involve only activities that are permitted by the individual healthcare agency's volunteer program requirements. Only students that are registered in educational health science programs with prior learning, skill development, and supervision by the school's clinical instructor are permitted to be involved in patient care. New Vision's health programs are senior year career exploration programs only that may include shadowing of health professionals and are observation only in healthcare facilities. There's no hands-on patient care permitted under any circumstances in those programs. Discussing any patient's care management with any school staff that is not the school's clinical instructor or with fellow students is in violation of the HIPAA law. Violations of the HIPAA law are prosecutable. The Coordinator of Work-Based Learning Programs. There are two different Work-Based Learning Coordinator Certificate extensions, and these are, the first one is the Career Awareness Extension, the 8981. This is any certified academic, special education teacher, or school counselor may apply for it. Once they complete the 2 required work-based learning courses, they have to provide documentation of 300 work hours outside of the classroom, may supervise GWEP and WESEP registered programs or any of the unregistered work-based learning experiences. They may not supervise co-op or CEIP. Coordinator of the Work-Based Learning Programs Extension for Career Development, the 8982, must be a certified CTE teacher. They must complete the 2 required courses, document 600 hours of outside the classroom experience, work experience, and they may supervise co-op, CEIP, GWEP, WESEP, or any of the unregistered work-based learning experiences. The registered work-based learning experiences are stated here, the 4 of them: co-op, CEIP, GWEP, and WESEP, and I'll go into a little more detail on them. All of these must be supervised by a registered certified work-based learning coordinator, and the programs must be registered with the New York State Education Department. This slide shows the various, who can supervise which of the work-based learning programs. The first is the Career and Technical Education Cooperative Work Experience. or co-op. These are for students aged 16 years and older. They can be paid or unpaid school supervised work experience. They're designed to be a development of career-specific skills. Productive work is allowed. Prohibitive occupations apply. Student learner exceptions allowed. They are supported by related instructions, and school credit may be earned unless the credits are already part of the CTE program. CEIP, or Career Exploration Internship Program, are for students age 14 or older. They are unpaid school supervised work experience. They are exploration rather than skills development experiences. Productive work is prohibited. Prohibitive occupations do apply, and there's no student learner exception allowed. They are supported by classroom instruction, and the school credit may be earned unless the credits are already part of a CTE course or program. The General Education Work Experience Program, or GWEP, are for students age 16 or older. They are paid or unpaid school supervised work experiences. Productive work is allowed. Prohibitive occupations apply. No student learner exception is allowed. Supported by related classroom instruction, and school credit may be earned. The last Registered Work-Based Learning Program is the Work Experience and Career Exploration Program, or WESEP. These are for students age 15 and 16 at-risk youth. They're paid school supervised work experiences. Productive work is allowed, and prohibitive occupations do apply. There is no student learner exception allowed. They're supported by related classroom instruction, and school credit may be earned. I will go into the prohibitive occupations these next few slides. The Department of Labor has designated 17 hazardous occupations for minors or any individual under the age of 18. There are 7 exemptions. The exemptions are for age 16 and 17 apprentices, student learners, or high school graduates who have completed training or are in training as student learners when they work under set conditions. These exemptions also apply to hiring individuals under age 18. On this slide, I have highlighted 2 of the 7 that count as an exception. So a student enrolled in a CTE program may participate in these 2 that are highlighted here, or any of these that are highlighted on this slide. This information is found on the U.S. Department of Labor website under Wage and Hour Division in the minors section of that. The Department of Labor sets forth regulations for hiring all individuals, but in our case it would be minors. They set forth the wage that minors must be paid, the allowable hours of minors, prohibitive occupations and exceptions, manual labor, employer-employee relationship, the 64 CO8, and workers' compensation. The 64 CO8 is a USDOL document specifically for students with disabilities that guides the wage and hour restrictions for the individuals with disabilities. Health and safety training is a critical component of all work-based learning experience or registered programs. The general workplace safety training, there is available training through the NIOSH called Talking Safety or Staying Safe at Work that is available. It's a free curriculum that can be downloaded and used to teach students young work. These are what the content that is covered under it is young worker injuries, finding hazards, making the job safer, emergencies at work, knowing your rights and responsibilities, and taking action. CTE program-specific safety training is the responsibility of the CTE teacher as well as the business supervisor. The work-based learning coordinator, supervising teacher, or counselor, business supervisor are all responsible for safety training of the students. Some of the safety programs that our schools do have in place is the OSHA 10 safety training, which is also falls under the career safe. Workers' compensation insurance. It's strongly recommended that all students participating in registered work-based learning programs or under registered work-based learning experiences are never placed in a business that does not carry workers' compensation insurance. By law, all businesses that have more than one employee are required to have workers' compensation insurance. Students that participate in paid work experiences or work-based learning programs are required to be covered by the business's workers' compensation insurance policy. There is an exception for any student providing non-manual services for religious, charitable, or educational institutions. They are exempt from work-based learning, workers' compensation coverage. Workers' compensation insurance is, they have put language together for us for our work-based learning manual that states that a BOCES or a school district can bring students within the confines of the workers' compensation law and secure workers' compensation coverage for them while they are performing work in their student capacity for an employer partnering with a BOCES and or school district. The link that's there will take you right to the language from the workers' compensation workbook. In the event of an injury, whether an employer or employee relationship exists is a factual issue for the Workers' Compensation Board. In making such a determination, the board will generally consider factors such as who retains the right to control the work and set the work schedule, the method of payment, the finishing of equipment, the right to discharge, and relative nature of the work issues. There's required paperwork that's recommended for all work-based learning experiences and work-based learning programs. We recommend that the documentation be used for both. It is required mandatory for registered work-based learning programs. The role of the work-based learning coordinator is to collaborate with classroom teacher and businesses for safety training and work placement sites, track students' schedules and attendance, visit work site prior to students being placed, as well as while they're there, and the work experience, responsible for the paperwork, ensures all parties sign the documentation. They are the main person for the work-based learning paperwork. My contact information is here on the slide. If you have any further questions, please feel free to contact me. I'll be happy to answer your questions.
Great, thank you, Cheryl. We'll give attendees a couple minutes to type in any questions.
Okay.
Okay, Cheryl, we do have a question. It's a bit of a lengthy one, so I'm going to do it in 2 pieces.
Okay.
So on the application for program approval, on-site projects, in quotation marks, is also listed as an other work-based learning experience that can be used for program approval. So the first question is, can you give some examples of an on-site project?
Yes, the example I gave of the student in the construction program working to build benches is an on-site project. Students in an automotive program doing oil changes, rotating tires, doing brakes, those are on-site projects. When the students are independently working, demonstrating that they know what they're doing with little to no assistance from the teacher, those are considered on-site projects.
Okay, thank you. And the second question is, can hours accumulated by participating in on-site projects be used as part of the 54-hour requirement for the CDOS credential and CDOS graduation pathway?
Yes, they can.
Okay. Okay, so it doesn't seem like we have any more questions at this time. So on behalf of the Technical Assistance Center, thank you to Cheryl for joining us, or for presenting, and thank you to our attendees for joining us. And as a reminder, this presentation was recorded and will be posted on nyctecenter.org along with the PowerPoint. Thank you.
Thanks.